I was too deep for the slurp.
Oh, man.
I was too deep, so I just got the suction of the liquid with none of the air. And if you ever watch Magic School Bus, you know that's just not going to sound right.
Nope.
I am looking forward to it's Monday, which for most people, like, it's Monday. And for us, we go, it's Monday. But for you go, okay, but it's Monday, but we got these guys here.
We make Monday better.
Yeah, not for us, but for you.
For them.
Hey, look, since I haven't introduced him yet, that's Gerald here. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I don't really feel like responding to you at the moment. Quarterback Garrett, accepted
What's
amongst
going
all
on?
communities, and Dave Landau is here.
Ahoy.
He'll be at the Comedy Castle in Detroit.
Yes, that's right.
And you're wearing a mask mocking T-shirt.
I am. A
hoodie.
fan made
That's a
it.
great.
Yeah.
He's wearing a hoodie there.
That's what I do. A hoodie.
Is he going to be making some of that purple drink with Arizona and some cough syrup?
Better pass that over.
Heading to get some
over
Skittles.
Get in trouble with a Mr. Zimmerman, who everyone will be surprised is Latino. Who he is. That's called foreshadowing. So we have a lot to talk about today. The immigrant crisis, the illegal immigrant crisis, the border crisis.
Yes.
The numbers might surprise you as to how bad it's gotten and just how much the media has tried to ignore it. Of course, Cuomo can't keep his hands to himself.
Never.
What are they up to now?
The newest
5?
CDC report on masks from the CDC. All sources are available at louderbetter.com. In case you're going to say, well, where'd you get that
Link
source?
in the description.
From the CDC. So we're going to go over the report from the CDC. Just, by the way, statistically insignificant mask mandates.
Uh-oh.
Again, little foreshadowing for you.
That's
but
awkward.
first, we do have to talk about this. This has gone viral at Bed Bath & Body Works, and it resembles a Waffle House at 2 a.m. And this was a fight. I don't know if you Dave hasn't seen this yet.
Bath and
I
Body.
haven't.
It's
bad.
over a lady who wasn't wearing a mask, and this ensues. Good Lord.
Get your hand off my weave.
Why not put soap in a sock and use the place correctly?
Look at this lady with. Why did she leave the house in that?
Tube
That's a tube top sports bra with lacy jorts.
Oh.
Well, it's because she's garbage.
Yes, it is because she is garbage. Also, women can't fight. It's very cute. Now, here's the thing I want to say. There were people out there who were encouraging this, by the way, on Twitter, socialists saying, these people don't get 15 an hour, so shock and awe violence is what is recommended. You can go to my Twitter. Like I actually said, shock and awe violence. Look, someone could be acting like an uppity bee and not be wearing a mask. It still doesn't give you the right to hit them.
Well, it's amazing that you don't want to be hurt, so the idea is you then get hurt.
Right.
You're like, I'm just going to swing on a random piece of trash. That girl knows how to fight better than you just because she's had a bad life.
Yes, this is absolutely true.
Right, and you're trying to keep yourself safe by
Right.
pummeling someone.
You're not wearing a mask. Let me get real close
And by
to you
the
and
way,
punch
this is the issue. These people don't believe it. They don't believe it. If they thought it was like Ebola with a 50% mortality rate, where people went into where it was in Liberia, and it was like Samaritan's Purse, right? They wouldn't be in close proximity fighting. I would just snap that mask like the Bane hose. Like seriously, they're sitting there fighting with a piece of cotton, and they think that it's biological warfare. They're not afraid of it.
You should be more afraid of the fact that her stomach is out like that.
Right.
And she's
That's
not
true,
wearing a
yeah.
mask.
Yeah, she's going Greco-Roman belly-to-belly suplex while social distancing. How do you Alexander Carolyn a piece of white trash while social distancing? Comment. Let me know.
Let me know.
I apologies to Alexander Carolyn. One of the greatest athletes who's ever walked the face of the earth. Also a walking human pincushion.
Looks great in a tube top.
Yes, he does. That's right. The best thing you can do is comment, folks, if you're watching this on YouTube. Just leave a comment, and we'll talk about everything. So here's something else that's been making the rounds before we get on to the border crisis. There's a claim now going by the media, going through the media. I don't know if you've seen this, where Biden just nominated Jacqueline D. Van Ovost to lead the Transportation Command and Laura J. Richardson to 4-star general. But the media is claiming that he's nominating them because these nominations were held up by Donald Trump because he wouldn't have promoted women,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
biological, cis women,
Sis.
to roles of general. Here's a clip.
These are jobs that have been traditionally held by white men, and they feared because of President Trump's disparaging comments about women and about his kind of soured feelings toward both Mr. Esper and General Milley, that he would reject the two recommendations and replaced them with less qualified candidates before he left office.
Okay, so that looks like, by the way, in the right, Stephen King and his angry mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a man on the left.
Well, this is the problem. You know what the truth is? Large women, you should be mad at the T and the LGBT because you will never get the benefit of the doubt again. I never used to see a large woman and immediately look for like hair in the knuckles. Just that's a big lady.
Yeah.
But now you're going, I don't know.
No, once I've let you in the car, it's all make-believe.
Yes.
Glasses off.
Eddie Murphy's making a comeback too.
Yes, he is.
Coming to
Hey, does he?
America. Unwatchable.
Nope.
So this is what here's something you need to notice too with that clip. This is what the media does. That expert, it was the person who wrote the New York Times piece saying that Donald Trump wouldn't promote women, and he was on CNN saying people are saying that Donald Trump won't promote women. No, you said that. Yeah. You're the one who said it, and then CNN says an expert on this topic. Just tell us what's going on. Well, there are some people. No, it's you. You're a liar. Let's just go through this. Richardson, was promoted to 3-star general in 2017, and Ovos became a 4-star general in August 2020, both under Donald Trump. Fact check. Wow. Ear blow.
Yes.
That was loud.
It hurt me.
Richardson took control of the U.S. Army North in July 2019. Fact check.
There we go. I want to make sure it didn't blow
right
your
here.
ears out.
Now then, here's something else that a lot of people don't realize while we're discussing women and women of color and not male to female women.
Right.
But the thing, Trump also oversaw the first black female general, Lorna M. Malloch, in the Marine Corps. So there you go.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, that was different.
Mix it up.
It's just this is a perfect example of a blatant lie. Donald Trump, someone at the New York Times, which is authoritative media, according to Twitter, according to Facebook, according to YouTube, right? They choose these as authoritative sources, like Reuters saying that there were guns at the Capitol when there were no guns at the Capitol. I don't know. You can trust Reuters, or you can trust Media Matters, you can trust CNN, or you can trust the FBI. And right here, they just lied. Donald Trump wouldn't promote them to general. He promoted more to general than anyone else.
Absolutely. And by the way, what the last one, Ovost, or whichever one you couldn't pronounce correctly, that I can't either, Donald Trump actually oversaw her promotion prior to that in 2017. So there's no reason he would not promote her again. He had already done it once.
Yeah.
He had already been president when she was promoted the first time.
The first one was a token promo. Take it and go away. Okay? You're lucky I don't demote you back down to Lieutenant Colonel. You and your tits. What about to say that?
Oh, I was just saying, before you brought up tits, I find it amazing that they bring on the old white guy who's already made it in the society of, racism, whatever.
Yes.
It's like, wow, okay, let's just bring on this cuck.
Yeah.
To sit there and go, yeah, white people are all bad. Yes, I've made my bones on it.
Yes, I have.
But,
it's like Sarah Silverman saying, you shouldn't say offensive things. Go back and see my bits making fun of starving children in Africa, which, by the way, was funny.
Yes, watch my special, Jesus is Magic.
Right, yeah, exactly. Let's sucker punch half the population, but I don't have the balls to paint Muhammad. All right, let's go to Cuomo here. And I will say this. This is, of course, none of us here think that Cuomo's a rapist, which is, that's allegedly what people are saying out there. And of
Not
course,
currently.
I am not going to go down that trail. I am not going to live by that sword and die by that sword. Governor Cuomo is absolutely not a serial rapist.
So we know it.
Now, I also think it's a problem that he's probably going to be ousted for grabbing people's cheeks and making inappropriate jokes, and not for, say, killing your grandparents.
Yeah.
I would think that no one cared there.
One seems
It's
to be
all
worse.
distraction.
But since we last spoke with you, 5 people now. 5 have come forward. You have Lindsey Boylan claims that he kissed her without consent, invited her to play strip poker. Well, when in the governor's office. Charlotte Bennett said he asked if she'd been with older men. Anna Ruck said he put his hand on her lower back, asked to kiss her. Now, the 2 new allegations include embracing a former aide to prevent her from leaving his hotel room and kissing another aide while grabbing her waist. Keep in mind, the New York Times or New York Post just wrote an article about how they needed to ban Pepe Le Pew. This is Pepe Le Pew. Going in front of the door. You will not leave my love, for I am going to sniff you. That was Cuomo. And no, we're going to cancel Pepe Le Pew, but we're not going to cancel the human who blocked the door with a subordinate, by the way, who worked underneath them. It wasn't just a cat who fell in some primer.
Does Matt Lauer actually have a company where he makes door lock buttons? That's what they should have.
He's on the board at Ring.
Yeah.
This is like Tiger Woods, the saga with Tiger. Like every week, it's more women
Another
coming
one.
out. I'm
And
like,
another
oh, no. Oh, geez.
No, and here's the thing.
But I like Tiger.
Well, yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, I just
was going
wouldn't
with similarities.
Just wouldn't use him
Tiger
as a
isn't a-
chauffeur.
No.
Granny murderer.
Here's the thing, though.
Allegedly.
Do not let the left get away with this. This is something people need to remember, okay? Because now people are saying, oh, we need to listen to women. And you know what? I'm so disappointed with Cuomo. And you have de Blasio coming out talking about an investigation. This wasn't just a guy who the left accepted. This was their guy. Keep in mind, they were talking about this guy running for president. They were talking about him as the leader of the Democratic movement, as the shining beacon, the example of how states should handle COVID and how they should manage their executive offices. There was even the term, the media was so in love with them. You have Colbert, you have Ellen DeGeneres, you have Jada Pinkett Smith, you have Trevor Noah, referring to themselves as Cuomo-sexuals. Don't let them move on as though they didn't do this.
These feelings are perfectly natural. Many Americans experience moments of being at least Andrew curious, if not fully Cuomo-sexual.
Trevor, you call yourself a Cuomo-sexual, and I agree with you. I feel like I'm a Cuomo-sexual too.
Yeah.
Governor Cuomo has become a national leader.
Governor Cuomo, I think, is one of the heroes on the front lines.
Andrew Cuomo touched me.
This book is absolutely fantastic. I think it's just a guide to how to deal with this pandemic.
Dealing with hardship actually makes you stronger. That's what Governor Cuomo said earlier today. That's what I'm going to go teach my kids right now at home.
He made me really uncomfortable.
I don't know
That's
what
horrible.
you expected. By the way, thank you, MRC. Some of those clips came from them, so we do appreciate it.
So Ellen likes men?
Yes,
Yeah,
apparently.
that's
Clear
what-
enough.
yeah.
She's back.
Just
right?
one guy.
By the way, I don't think Stelter has to teach his kids how to deal with adversity. They're already dealing with it.
By the way, also homosexual is considered a pejorative now. They're saying Cuomo-sexual, and it's okay. It's like, hey, I really I'm a Cuomo fag, PHAG. Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty hot and gay? What does that mean? Trying to get there. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. His mind's in the gutter all the time, this guy.
I know. It's pretty weird.
He's one of those guys who, he like does the Bible says you're going to find him taking a wide stance in a public stall. So
Hey, so do priests.
takes a wide stance.
What?
And this is something, while we're talking about the Cuomos getting a pass, let's use an example here of this is the other brother Cuomo.
Okay,
The other one.
the lesser.
Not the brothers Grimm,
Fredo.
the Grimm brothers
Yeah.
Cuomo. This is the other brother.
This is the bootleg.
This is the bootleg. This is a guy with a mixtape CD down at Times Square, and also selling peanut M&Ms for his local basketball tournament.
Yeah, or at a liquor store with a No Limit cover-esque photo.
Right.
Just a lot of diamonds on your name.
Why is there an Ace of Base CD jacket? I ran out. It's the same thing, same CD.
I saw the sign.
I saw kinds of signs and shit. So this is Chris Cuomo recently saying something that nobody here could say. And again, gets a pass from gay black guy.
Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, thinking how it all looks hand-me-down.
How do you know the words to Good Times?
You know I'm black on the inside. So,
Good Times.
Wait, but hold on. You're black on the inside? Are we sure? Is that your final answer, Chris? Yeah, and he tried to sell that, by the way, as a 10-foot rim. Would have tricked you if not for the Fisher-Price logo on it.
Self-jack.
He sold that on Instagram. He was like, dunk it on a 10-foot. It's an 8-foot rim. And people were going, why are you lying about them? He's like, oh, why are you lying, bro? I work really, really hard. You're a liar. Your brother killed our grandparents, and he's allegedly a rapist, and I defended him.
You work hard on what? Dunking?
Yeah, exactly.
Real hard on
my
that dunk.
report every day.
I certainly don't put the effort into my show, so obviously it's something.
Oh, I want to see him play Street Rules like American History X. Yes. And then I hope he also goes over to the Nazis' house like that movie.
That won't work out well.
Put your mouth on the curb.
Yeah. No, don't.
No, well, no, he's saying
Never
because
do
they would have a nice spread for him.
I'm saying they would beat him.
Yeah, no, he's not.
No.
By the way, hey, follow me on Instagram. Louder with Crowder is the Instagram where you can follow. You find some more lifestyle stuff where I might do some dunks of my own.
There you go.
Just kidding.
Like a 7-foot.
No, I don't lie to you. And then, of course, the best thing to do is this is a live show. Tune in Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And if you want to watch an additional 45 minutes every day, louderwithkyler.com/mug club. You get this wonderful hand-etched mug and more content. Today we'll be going through actually the new veterinary medicine curriculum aimed at. It's permeated everywhere, the social justice left. Veterinary medicine, they're saying, is not equal enough. There's not enough equality. And I'll again, teaser, that's because there is no white equivalent to Michael Vick. So, I thought they were still talking about the George Floyd trial. Right now they're picking the jury, but we'll be covering that live as we actually continue with that series. So let me ask you this, too, a question today. What do you think... Why do you think it is that Joe Biden, I mean, people have their conspiracies, but isn't it plain as day now when they're just trying to bring in as many illegal immigrants as possible with no checks or balances?
Yes.
I mean, at a certain point, wouldn't you say, hey, look, they're coming in. You have over 108 in the Texas border who tested positive for COVID. Don't you care about? No. At a certain point, why would anyone believe that the Democratic Party is looking out for them? And I think you're seeing a shifting of the parties, where you're going to see the Republican Party, the party of the working class, more minority support, and Democrats be rich white bitches. But comment. That's the best thing you can do. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Just leave what you think there below. Here's something that interests me. I'm excited about this, and it's a little nerdy.
You're about to
That looked a little Bill Cosby.
But the new... Yeah.
This is what excites me, because it's the CDC report, and then you got your mama and your grandpa dead, which makes it easier for me to put the thing in the thing.
The GHB report.
The GHB report, because old ladies don't fight back, you see.
Well, at least he wasn't cussing.
No.
So.
Yeah, very clean.
And the great thing, you go into the old folks' home, is there's a never-ending supply of Jello pudding.
I'm going blind. I got the CNI prisoner there with me.
Far less velocity on the impression, which I just appreciate.
I did the worst one. That's why I throw it in.
No.
Nice.
I would
mix it up.
So here's a new in-depth report directly from the CDC. Go to louderwithkyler.com. We listen. You may not agree with what we do, but again, you can go to the link in the description. All of the sources for the show are available. This is a report directly from the CDC. That stands for what?
Disease control.
Oh, those
controls.
So, this is a report on mask mandates. And I thought, oh my gosh, when this comes out, they're going to be pushing it. They were surprisingly transparent with the entire study. The science is in now outside of the conclusion. And so I found out what the conclusion means in some of these studies as it relates, since it's not a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical study.
Yeah.
With the CDC, the conclusion means we can just bullshit in the face of the data. So here are the actual numbers from the CDC. Mask mandates were associated with a 0.5 percentage point decrease in daily COVID-19 case growths 1 to 20 days after implementation, and decreases of 1.8 percentage points after 100 days. Mask mandates were associated with a 0.7 percentage point decrease in daily COVID-19 death growth within 20 days, and 1.9% after 100 days. And it says this right here. Just to be really clear. Daily case and death growth rates before implementation of mask mandates were not statistically different from the reference period.
Bro.
They were not statistically different. So you're looking at 0.7, you're looking at 0.5 to 1.9 across the board on the high side of the scale. Now, let's contrast that with 9.5 million jobs lost, 4 million small businesses that will never reopen, a 93% increase in mental illness, people seeking help for depression, anxiety, and suicide rates at record highs. At a certain point, you have to balance the risk-reward. How much is your life worth? I don't care, Bed Bath & Beyond, bitch. You can wear your mask.
And by the way, the mask mandate, what they defined as that is you had to wear a mask everywhere outside your home, in the park, going for a jog, in your car, not just in stores. And the closing of the restaurants, the lockdowns, only counted if you only did delivery. If you had 5 people in the restaurant on opposite sides, that didn't count. If you had outdoor dining, that didn't count. So basically, they said go home and die, and you won't die of COVID.
Right.
That's
and
their
lose
advice.
all your jobs.
Yes, exactly.
Also, the woman at the Bed and Bath Body Works, is that what it's called? Her life.
Oh, that's right. I said Bed Bath & Beyond. Thank you for correcting.
Well, you said Bed Bath & Body
Thank you for correcting
Bed Bath
me,
&
you
Body Works.
domesticated
Listen,
man.
I use fancy soaps. And her life is worth $11.
They're just
Her life is worth $11.
$11.
I like pumpkin soap.
This one has some pumice in it, so it exfoliates. If you're a man, it just rips out your ass hair.
I shop in the Crackle Barrel.
There's nothing good about a male loofah. By the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed, because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot on YouTube. Just hit that notification bell, and you'll know that the show is up every weekday, 10 a.m. Eastern. This is unbelievable to me, where this is written here. And again, by the way, let me just say something that people may not be happy if you're a grown adult and you're wearing a mask outside by yourself at the park, you've lived an asshole's life.
Agreed.
Yeah. If I see you wear a double mask, you are immediately my enemy. If I see you in your car by yourself with a mask, I know that I don't ever want to hang out with you. You're being judgmental. Yeah.
If you wear a double mask into anywhere and you're a salesperson, you should be able to sell them anything.
Yes.
If you can't, you should be fired. Because it's like, oh, I see you believe bullshit.
Oh, I see. You're a moron. Okay.
Yeah, come over here. I got it.
Hold on, you know what? Hold on. Have you seen the sear stones in my top hat? Oh, I think I found where your axe is hidden.
This is a Buick Enclave. It prevents cancer. Do you want it?
Would you like?
You're so screwed.
By the way, Gerald is laughing because he got the theological reference.
You are so
there.
screwed. They're
Shut
coming
up!
for you.
Shut up! With your temple garment mocking.
Can I not wear a temple garment?
I don't get that one.
So here's the interesting thing. It just said it just said it, right? Daily case and death rates before implementation of mask mandates were not statistically different from the reference period. But then we'll put this side by side. The conclusion there, it says mask mandates were associated with statistically significant decreases in county-level daily COVID-19 death and growth rates within 20 days of implementation. So wait, you just said that it wasn't. There were no statistically significant differences, and now you're saying what there were statistically significant differences. So they're full of shit, right?
Yep. Bullshit.
Well,
Yes.
Did I carry the one?
You did.
Okay, good.
Yes. But it's worth it, Steve.
My gosh. And people want to tell you, why don't you follow the science? Why don't you follow it? Well, because look, if I wear a double mask everywhere, all the time, I only have a 0.5% less chance that I might catch a disease for which I stand a 99.997% survival rate. Well, really? What if it's after 100 days? 1.6! I still really don't care.
Right. No, and this is just like the left. They look at one factor. They don't look at the unintended consequences of this, the suicide rate, mental health rate, childhood obesity, education problems, like all of the other things that get thrown in there. And you're telling me that is for a 0.5% reduction?
Right.
Some people just want to see the world burn.
Right.
That's
And I don't want to see you
true.
burn your mask like those kids in Idaho.
Or your
How
bra.
dare they.
That's how dumb the left is. They were like, hey, ladies, you should burn your bras. And they were like, you're right.
Yeah.
That is feminism.
Because they thought they were sticking it to men. We're like,
Yeah.
what? You're going to show us your tits? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't you dare burn your bras. Don't you burn your
showed
bras.
me. Oh.
Don't stand naked in the street. Don't do that.
Don't install a stripper pole in our master bedroom, sweetheart. What is happening?
Oh, you're taking stripper classes for feminism? Good. I mean, yeah.
Awful.
You show me.
Terrible.
Men are gross.
Ugh.
Patriarchy.
I tell you what, if I come home, there better not be a sandwich on that countertop. There better not be a sandwich on that counter. Look.
There's a sandwich.
Damn it.
Damn Gloria Allred.
Believe it.
Why is it here? Why is there a sandwich
Why
here?
is there a sandwich?
I make the sandwiches now. You go to work.
Yes.
Hey, we have a breaking update from Manny in the control room.
Oh, no, what happened?
Well, it's actually not that interesting. It's the Supreme Court dumps the last of Trump's election appeals. It's basically something that we kind of forgot about. But the interesting thing here is that they did it without comment. The court, without comment, rejected Trump's last appeals.
Without comment.
Without
Interesting.
How do you do that?
They just did.
It's not like you're asking Justin Bieber about the state of his relationship, about the state of his marriage. This is the Supreme Court relating to election fraud, many of these cases have been simply dismissed on procedural grounds. No comment.
It's
You
moot.
know what?
It's
you know
moot.
what? I think I deserve a comment.
They're
Maybe a
saving
little one.
paper.
I just think we deserve a comment. That's all.
By the way, going back to that CDC thing, I guarantee you, if you were to tweet out that CDC says there is no statistical difference somebody would fact check you with what they then said later in the report that there is statistical significance.
I would do it, but I don't want to have to sue Twitter.
Oh, but that's
we already got the lawsuit with Facebook. I don't want to have to sue Twitter for posting the CDC's own information.
You get a quantity discount on it, I think.
At a certain point, I don't know. It's not Bed Bath. It's not pumpkin soaps.
Best.
Here we go to the border crisis now. This is something that's really interesting that people are not talking about. People are not talking about this because, A, it's wildly unpopular if you look at the left's policy on illegal immigration, okay? On immigration, period. And Donald Trump actually gained a significant amount of ground with Latino Americans, Latinx. By the way, I asked my house cleaning lady. I said Latino. She goes Latina. Yeah. I said Latinx. I don't know.
Why do you say
None of them. Yeah. The only people who want to be referred to as Latinx are white women who probably have a little bit of, I don't know, Cherokee in them or something, or Aztec. And they're like, I'm Latinx. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're wearing a tube top in Bath and Body Works and throwing haymakers, okay? You are not Latinx.
If she pulled out a blade, Latinx.
There you go. Okay. If she cuts you,
just put a butterfly knife in the hands of a Mexican toddler and watch them go to work.
Oh, no. Take out 30 people.
It's genetic. Just like putting a little white toddler at a wedding and watch them dance like this. He's got the white man dance at a very young age.
Built in.
Just like he also kids ecstasy. What?
We're off the Cosby.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
So this is something. It's wildly unpopular with basically everybody outside of the far left. Let's get to some of the numbers and results here as to what's happening at the border, and it really is a genuine crisis right now. Jen Psaki, just this last week or over the weekend, defended Biden's immigration policies in a very smug, soulless, ginger way. Here you go.
I know you don't want to answer to him, but the former president just released a statement saying that the Biden administration must act immediately to end the border nightmare that they have unleashed on targeted
Former President Trump?
Yes.
We don't take our advice or counsel from former President Trump on immigration policy, which was not only inhumane, but ineffective. Over the last 4 years, we're going to chart our own path forward, and that includes treating children with humanity and respect and ensuring they're safe when they cross our borders.
Mm-hmm. Who built the cages, Joe?
Wow.
Who built the cages, Chucky? Here's the thing. Joe Biden built the cages, so he wants to get his money worth, and now they have more kids in cages than him. Why? Because Joe Biden's policies are designed to accommodate, I would say catch and release, so they're not even really catching, are designed to accommodate illegal immigrants, whereas, of course, the Trump policies were designed to protect American borders and basically de-incentivize people.
Yeah, one of the criticisms of the Trump administration's immigration policy has never been that they weren't effective. It's always been that they were too stringent.
That they were too effective.
You were building a wall, and we can't have walls in our country, and you're sending too many people home, and you're trying to... No one has ever had the balls to say they were ineffective.
Right. No one has ever said that they were ineffective.
Unbelievable.
And I've got some numbers. Under Donald Trump, illegal border crossings decreased to a record low, 832 a day, the entire year of 2017. Under Biden, it's increased to, okay, take a guess. Take a guess. Don't look at the overlay. Take a, so 830 something, what is it, 832 a day under Trump. Okay. So you would think that they wouldn't be so smug if the numbers are close.
Right.
Well, if he's ineffective.
Give or take a few hundred even.
Yeah.
So 832 a day in 2017.
It can't be much more.
And by the way, that's entirely because of Donald Trump staring them down. They were, don't mess around with him. He mean what he say. He mean what he say. Don't climb the wall. He mean what he say.
It don't matter how fast you can run.
It don't matter how fast you can run. They have robots in the sky that they do with remote control, like right with the car. He mean what he say. So 832 versus how many do you think now? Biden hasn't been in that long. How many do you think? Take a guess.
On the high side, 1,200.
Yeah, 1,300.
6,000. 6,000 a day.
A day?
A day.
That's Wilt Chamberlain number.
Not even he could do that in a day.
Well, I think you're wrong.
And by the way, I know we're all acting shocked.
Yeah.
And people say, well, that's because you're right wing. What's another 6,000 a day? Well, keep in mind that back in 2019, Obama's former Department of Homeland Security, the Secretary, Jeh Johnson. I just had to make sure.
What?
Jeh Johnson. J-E-H.
What a prick.
If you've lived your whole life with the name Jeff, you've lived an asshole's life. So, Jeff Johnson had this reaction to the hypothetical if we might even reach 1,000 border crossings a day.
On Tuesday, there were 4,000 apprehensions. I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like.
Can't
so
begin.
we are truly in a crisis.
Well, you don't need to imagine anymore. You can just get your binoculars and watch some coyotes bring them on over.
What do you think was harder for him in school, being named Jack Johnson or the fact that he looks like Black? Inconceivable.
No, his name is not Jack. It's Jack.
Jack?
J-E-H.
No, yeah, it's just.
I thought it was Jack.
No. Jack
Jack.
Johnson. You
I
know,
didn't even
Jack
bother
Johnson
to
was,
learn that.
No, Jack Johnson was a heavyweight champion, and then the singer, John Mayer Light.
Yes.
This guy is Jeff.
Jack?
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jack.
Jeff.
Who names their kid that?
Probably a prick.
I didn't know his name was Jeff.
Jeff.
Jeff?
Where were you during the show?
I don't know.
What's your name?
I assumed
Jeff.
his name was
Jeff.
Jack.
What's your name?
Jeff.
Jeff. Jeff. Your name. Jeff. Jeff. Your name is. Your name is Jeff. Yes, I know your name. I asked for it.
She's on first. Por favor is on second.
Jeff.
Gracias is paying a third.
Jeff, if this guy, he don't mean what he say, but throw him mean what he say. Don't cross the wall. He mean what he say. I don't know. So, by the way, comment. It's the best thing you can do. Comment on what you think here. 6,000 a day, if that number surprised you. What were you betting? And we'll be taking your chats on Mug Club a little bit
6,000? That's how many people leave Detroit today.
Yes.
It's those big numbers.
They're just migrating.
Yes. Also, it's the price of an
down,
average
coming
home
up.
in Detroit.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
6,000. Of course, 6,000. Buys you a Mick mansion, and it's just a bunch of people who call themselves Mick who live in your mansion and have squatters' rights and can't get out.
It's true.
You're like, you're not Irish. Yeah, I did that for the paperwork. Even at the border, by the way, people. Here's this Arizona
Leon
sheriff.
McDonald's. Sorry.
Here's this Arizona sheriff talking about these are the people who have to deal with it. Working class Americans, people you don't care about, dealing with the issue at the border.
When President Biden rescinded the emergency order on the southwest border, it stopped resources and stopped construction on our border. As a result of that, one area where the fence is not complete, we get 5 or 6 groups a day coming across there. In December, it was over 2,500 entries, illegal entries, let me say, to include over 500 pounds of illicit drugs. I just got the charts there today. It's skyrocketing back to numbers we saw in 2019. The reason we have MPP and these other programs President Trump put in place was because of 2019 caravan and surges. It worked. It's not working now.
Well, that would sound, it wouldn't matter if it was just one guy, but the statistics are overwhelming.
Well, at least we get $1,400 checks.
Yes.
So,
by the way, some of those people, depending on when they get in from the border.
Oh, come on.
You're getting 500 pounds of coke, and we're getting 1,400 bucks.
It doesn't seem equal.
No, work on that.
I don't know the street value, but I'm assuming it's more.
Yes.
Yeah, probably
That's
higher.
what I assume.
Very much so.
I have no idea.
The guy's like, we got 500 pounds.
I'm sorry, it's down to 3.
Yeah, we have 6 pounds.
In the evidence room, there's a missing perfect quadrant. I don't know. That's how they ship it. Something about air pressure.
Bill. That's weird.
I don't know. It's like, when they send you cook like Pringles. They leave a little room in the top of the tube. They do that with Coke? I assume so.
Yes. He's testing everyone with a knife. Yep, it's real.
Yes.
It's still real.
Is that a knife? It's not so much a knife as it is a gourd.
I better take some home and make sure it's real.
Listen, I take the home study project.
Guys, this one's fake. I'll take it, though. I need flour.
This is
Definitely
fake. This
need
one's
flour.
just powdered sugar. Good news is I need a lot of it. Here's the thing. Let's go through the policy. So we know, 832 versus 6,000 a day, right? That's irrefutable. We know that right now they're struggling with a crisis. We know that Texas has had to send the National Guard down to the border. We know that hundreds of them have tested positive for COVID and gone back into the population, which, by the way, that doesn't really bother me that much. It's not so much that people might get a rough cold from illegal immigrants. It's that they may lose their job or get violently harmed because of the criminal rates that we see from people who are here illegally. Now you're saying, hold on a second. I watched MSNBC, and they say that immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than native-born. Nope, that's not true. So Trump's policies, let me just rattle off what they were. And these led to the decrease dramatically. No one refuted them. No one argued that. They just would argue that it was cruel.
Other than Jen Psaki.
Right.
So.
No, she just said we don't take advice from him.
She said they were ineffective. She said his policy.
Well, see, Gerald, I got to fact check you. She said they were ineffective because she wants more illegal immigration.
Well,
that's why she won't take his advice. They are ineffective if your goal is to go from 832 illegal crossings to 6,000. There's no way Donald Trump's policies are ever going to get you to those numbers.
Terrible policy, right?
Rookie numbers.
Don't attribute motive. That's not what we do here. So, there were limitations under Donald Trump. Limitations are those who qualified for asylum, right? There was greater scrutiny. It was placed on applicants who traveled through more than one country to get to the border, but only sought asylum in the United States. This was, for example, like the Honduran, the El Salvadorian. Is that what it's called? El Salvadorian,
also known as asylum law international.
Right, asylum law international. But now asylum just means asylum used to be, right, you're being persecuted by a government. For example, let's say Christians in Malaysia or a place like that, right? There's a record number of burning churches. We need to leave. We say, okay, a government has a policy, a systematic way of discriminating against you. You are seeking asylum to be safe. With Mexico and Honduras, they just go, I'm seeking asylum. Oh, really? What is it? My country is shit. It's not very good. My country is not very good, and your country is very nice. I would prefer to be in the place that's very nice.
Yeah, well, and you
Please let me in.
You also have to go to the nearest country where you are not going to be persecuted, which is not, by the way, the United States if you're in Honduras.
Right.
Sorry.
You people know that COVID is not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's really not. I've had much worse things.
Believe me.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I carry many of them with me.
I am walking, how do you say, petri dish.
Yes.
Petri dish.
You test me for one thing, but I bring many.
I'm more afraid of COVID-13.
Don't put up a swab. You're not going to like what comes back, okay? They had a zero-tolerance policy under Donald Trump. Now, what did that mean? Anyone who crossed the border illegally, they were referred for criminal prosecution as opposed to Obama's catch-and-release policy. Lowering the refugee admission ceiling from 110,000 to 50,000, right? From Obama, 110,000 to 50,000. Again, all these sources are available at loudoutcounter.com. Ending the temporary protected status granted to illegals from El Salvador, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Sudan, or as some people refer to them, shithole countries, which we would never say. No. Sudan is not. It's a wonderful country, burgeoning technology and human rights. In contrast, Biden's have included expanding DACA, ending the cap on daily asylum requests, ending prosecution of adults illegally crossing with children, which, by the way, is a problem for those children. They basically get sold into indentured servitude, if we're talking about it, and ceasing border wall construction. So you can look at those direct changes and see, oh, now I understand how it goes from 832 illegal crossings a day, which is 832 too much, to 6,000. 6,000 a day. That's a hell of a voting base if you give them all amnesty and a citizenship.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the ending prosecution, basically all you have to do is go kidnap a kid and cross the border.
Yes, that happens all the time.
Exactly. That was the whole reason for separating, so that you could figure out which kids were actually with parents and which kids were with, I don't know, people that had kidnapped them.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? Well, listen, they'll make sure, they'll have policies in place once they get here to make sure that no one's done that, like proper identification. Okay.
Oh, no.
Think about all of this one, even if it's unintentionally, it will create a super vortex of sex trafficking and kidnapped children and underground slavery, not to mention reduced wages, not to mention, of course, harm the American worker. But you aren't looking out for Mexican children if you are not keeping tabs on who is signing the guest book on the way into this country. Yeah. Would you run a daycare and not have any identification, not have any proof that these are the kids' parents or their legal guardians?
Yeah.
Would you just say, well, just come on in, it's a revolving door like Will Ferrell and Elf sticking his gum on the subway? Seriously, you wouldn't do it anywhere else. But when we talk about the border, it's, well, it would be cruel. It would be cruel to make sure that these are parents of the children.
Yeah.
Well, if your daycare is for sex trafficking, you wouldn't mind.
Well, that's why, the sex traffic daycare is a problem.
Well, I mean, they try.
I still don't know how they maintain 501c3 status.
It really is strange that they're just allowed to be there.
Revoke their tax-exempt status, please.
Brought to you by NAMBLA.
NAMBLA Daycare.
NAMBLA Daycare, because we care too much.
Your kid won't leave with a smile. NAMBLA.
But you will.
Come on, man.
Terrible.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I think you know exactly what you're doing.
I don't think NAMBLA Daycare is a good idea for the record.
Just for the record.
They cannot be sponsors at all.
No.
Reject the money. Send the check.
Well, I've already told them that they need to clean up their act first.
Yeah.
A few changes and maybe. So, of course, the media It said Donald Trump and his policies. What were they? The policies that led to 832 a decrease to 832 crossings a day versus right now 6,000. These policies, which just made sure that we knew who was coming into our country, we just made sure that we knew that parents were with their kids, that people weren't being kidnapped, that reduced sex trafficking. Policies were racist.
The southern border wall is a racist proxy for Trump's racist immigration policies.
Mexico sends its rapists and its murderers, but there is no evidence that Mexico is sending.
No, there's not. And so that right there was a huge, bigoted, racist insult to all immigrants and all Latinos here in this country.
You made an assumption.
Trump wanted $5 billion for a pointless border wall to enforce his racist immigration policies, but he was too incompetent to figure out how to get it.
It's part of his strategy to win a second term, along with riling up his base with his near constant racist rhetoric about immigrants.
Okay, so don't you just love the racism of the left where he said they're rapists, they're criminals who are coming over, they're not always sending their best. He said this was an insult to all Latino and Mexican-American immigrants. You just assume that they're all rapists. I don't assume that everyone running a taco truck is MS-13.
No. Just because their faces are tattooed with 13 doesn't mean you should jump to conclusions.
I have no idea. See white people with those face tattoos, and I just thought it was a style thing. They're wearing tattoos now, or they killed a guy, but who am I to judge?
Hey, if you didn't kill him on our soil, I don't mind.
I don't care.
What are we
going to extradite him to? They're going to extradite him to Honduras for crying out loud. They have 401ks for murder over there.
Well, the problem is some of them were rapists and some of them were murderers. That's fact.
And there would be no way to know.
Yes,
there would be no way to know.
In the context of what he was talking about, mentioning MS-13 prior to that should have given you some kind of an understanding of what he was saying.
Yeah.
Guys, criminals are coming over. There may be some fantastic people trying to get over.
Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to skip to a couple of sources here down to overlay P. So you're absolutely right. Illegal immigrants, first off, they cost taxpayers $116 billion per year.
Wow.
Okay? And this is important to know because they say, oh, look, you're going to spend billions on a border wall. Okay, look, just taking the number from 6,000 down to 832, you look at how much money it saves the taxpayer in the long term. Not to mention, it's morally reprehensible to not actually have a nation of people. And, of course, high immigration decreases wages for Americans on average. But talking about the crime, illegal immigrants, this is something that they use a lot on the left. They say, oh, actually, immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than natural-born and nationalized citizens. Well, that's not true. First off, that number includes only legal immigrants. So that number includes Swedish immigrants, German immigrants, Indian immigrants, Pakistani immigrants, as well as legal Mexican immigrants, legal South American immigrants, people like Smooth Manny, whose family came in from Colombia and they worked skilled jobs. That includes those people who, of course, are on the books, they pay taxes, so they're more likely to be law-abiding citizens. It changes, however, when you look at illegal immigrants, which is very hard to quantify because typically they don't answer the census. Knock, knock, no one's home! That's how it often goes. So in 2014, a DOJ report found that nearly half of all criminal investigations initiated by federal prosecutors were filed in courts near the southern border. 64% of all federal arrests were of non-citizens, according to the Bureau of Justice statistics. Wow. And then there's one statistic if you just look at specifically Mexican immigrants, because they have the highest portion of illegal immigrants in the United States, and it's hard to know which ones are legal versus which ones are illegal, which I think is a gross disservice to legal Mexican immigrants. That's the racism of soft expectations. Mexican immigrants commit between 3.5 and 5 times as many crimes as the native population. So it's a lie. Don't let them sell it to you. Don't believe it for a second that actually crime is not a problem. First off, it's a huge problem statistically based on the numbers that we already have. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you don't have a secured border, if you don't have a way to know who's coming into the country or leaving the country, that of course these are people who are more likely to try and live under the radar of the law, thus not obey the law. All right, it's over, it's done. Illegal immigrants, they commit more crime, they put you at risk, and of course they reduce your wages. But the media just said, well, Donald Trump's a racist, and you contrast that, of course, with how they've portrayed Biden's immigration policy.
Yeah. Executive action from President Biden.
Shut up, Gerald!
One of the, I think, inarguably, one of the most unconscionable things the Trump presidency did and left in its wake.
With the first action today, we're going to work to undo the moral and national shame of
previous administration that literally, not figuratively, ripped children from the arms of their families, their mothers and fathers at the border.
You know, this is all part of President Biden's commitment to restore humanity and humane values to our immigration policy.
The new Biden administration is proposing an 8-year pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants.
Compared to the last 4 years, this is great. Like, this is a miracle.
First off, why are we interviewing a guy with a chin-strap beard at a skate park?
Because he was going to say what they wanted.
They're not sending their best, folks. Oh, I beg to differ. Look at this man in a hoodie with a chin-strap beard at the skate park. I smoke weed, yo.
I got a man bun. It's a miracle.
They took Mexican Chaz Bono with horn-rimmed glasses. They're like, look, don't you want your country? Come on. Look, Statue of Liberty, give me you're hungry, you're tired, you're poor, your guess is as good as mine here, right? Yeah. Gift from the French.
I just want to say I don't like Swedes.
I don't like Swedes either. They cheap shot you in hockey.
Because you were saying how they're not criminals, but I've been beaten by a pack of Swedes.
Oh, a pack? Don't think so. They don't travel in packs.
They do. They travel in packs.
They're animals.
As opposed to the Norwegians, they're when grouped, they're schools.
Norwegians will beat you good too. I got a good beat.
You got beat up by like the worst.
Don't mess with the Norwegian. He mean what he say.
They all got a different way to roll doll book, and they just beat you good.
How did that work in prison? You're like, oh, I've been beaten by Swedes before. Swedes.
They're like, yeah.
That's not tough.
They've got fingers like sticky rolls, those Norwegians.
Yeah, they do.
That's the whole thing. People don't realize. Look, this is also something where we can't recognize the racial differences between people. Yeah. Look at all of the strongest men in the history. They're almost disproportionately from small places like Norway and Iceland.
Yeah.
And they contribute virtually nothing else to society, just to be clear, outside of really, really strong men. Look at all the land speed records back before Jenner decided to become Caitlyn, right? Back then, that's where a white guy could, until people realized, oh, black people run a lot faster. No, I know you're going to say, is that racist? Just look at every world record, number 1 through all of them, okay?
Well, Jenner also killed a guy and just has been wearing a disguise for the last decade, and we're just fine with it.
Yeah.
I can't. Every day I don't wrap my mind around that. It's like he put on a costume and was just like, no, I'm not Bruce. And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
We're sorry. Go on your merry way.
I guess you drive like a woman now.
Imagine filing out that report. Like, did you bring anyone in for that hit and run? Well, we did, but we made a mistake. What do you mean you made a mistake, detective? Well, see, we brought in a lady. It says here the one who ran the broad over was a man.
But
I'll have your badge and gun on my desk. But I'm not quite sure. She does have a big throbbing dick, so it seems to throw a wrench in the plans.
Woman of the Year material.
Yes, but was she born a man? Look, we can't ask that.
It is ma'am.
Look, it's an interrogation room, not a crystal ball, see?
Yes, let her go. Look at those gams walking out of my office.
Wonderful hairy gams.
I love to watch her go, but I hate to see her leave, Bruce.
Namely because of the back of her knee hair. That's slightly off-putting. I don't like my women with hair on the back of their knees. Come to think of it, I don't like them with hair on the front of their knees. But on the back of the knees, really, when they look like an Armenian mud wrestler, it's kind of a turn-off, but still brave and beautiful.
Also, if you've seen Bruce Jenner in the Village People movie Can't Stop the Music, you should have been aware of the fact that he's been a woman since 1978.
I sort of caught on when he started looking like Tilda Swinton from Narnia.
A movie so gay that it lowered my T-cell.
And here's something, though, while we go back to the immigration deal. Because this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, right? They assume that, or they did assume until this election, that, well, these policies and curbing illegal immigration and saying they're not bringing their best and their brightest, that we need to reduce crime coming from south of the border. Everyone assumed that, of course, that would kill the Republican Party with Latinos forever. But Donald Trump's policies, this surprised me, they were actually supported by 50%.
Wow.
Half of legal Latino Americans. Half. And then his approval rating actually was 26% of all non-white voters, which is a record high.
Yeah.
For any Republican, 26% among all non-white voters. He got more of a percentage of black voters and Latino voters. There were some areas in Florida where it went up like 20 points over the last election. And granted, that's because there are a lot of Cuban Americans who've experienced socialism and they say, not so fast. But even Mexican, I think a big part of this too is, again, unlike the left who see all Latino Americans, they see them as brown people. And this is the problem. They see them as a monolith of brown people. A lot of Latino Americans, the ones at least that I spend time with, the ones who I meet and we talk with on a regular basis, including, by the way, ones who maybe don't even speak English that well. You go to Quick Trip, never racetrack. You go to Quick Trip, at the end of the day, they're going and picking up that 32 ounce at the end of the day, just going, hey, Bud Ice, huh? See, they're proud Americans. They go to their truck, they have an American flag often. They're wearing American flag handkerchiefs. There are a lot of Latino Americans who see themselves as Americans, as hard-working, tax-paying Americans. And so, why would they not want to keep America, the country for their children and future generations free? That's why you see, and safe, that's why you see 50% support, and no one talks about it, because it's brown people. This is the problem with the left, and everyone talks about this, but think about this for a second. The left sees everyone in the United States, for example, brown people, mulattoes, swirls, half, Tokenawan, right? This is brown, black, right? They divide you that way. Think of this, though, for a second. And this is also why I don't agree with the white nationalists, the white supremacists. I'm a nationalist because I believe that nationalism can bring people of all races together if it's under the right idea. Okay? What does that sound? What's that sound going on? I just heard it sound like someone was walking in, like Chucky.
I think somebody was choking.
But if people look at this, the left, they will identify, okay, black, brown, yellow, right? Okay. Me. About as white as can be, short of Larry Bird. Okay?
Basically
white
clear.
as can be, basically translucent. I have far more in common, right? Far less differentiates me and an average black American, right? And I mean just the average black American, demographically, statistically, okay? Pick who you think is the quintessential black American, because I know that the left will say he's not black if he's an ROTC. He's not. I'm just saying pick whichever black American you want. I don't care. Anywhere from Drake to Ben Carson stabbing his mom in a belt buckle. You take your pick. I have more in common with that guy than a Japanese person would have with a Chinese person, despite the fact that to many Westerners, they would look the same. And what does that tell you? That racism, the way we look at it, obviously racism is evil, but it's not a racial issue. It's the way the left seeks to divide and conquer, whereas nationalism can actually bring people together under the same umbrella or divide people. Look at the cruelty between the Japanese and the Chinese when you look during especially during World War II, when you look at some of the experiments that they performed on each other. They hated each other. They believed they were subservient to each other. What's crazy to me is when you look at World War II, the Nazis thought they were the master race, but so did the Japanese. Someone's got to be wrong. I'm going with the guys with the 1 foot height advantage. But the point is, me and a black American, sure, we have some different, but we speak the same language. We live in the same country, right? We by and large, we probably watch the same television shows, watch the same sports. We have a lot of the same role models, especially now when you look at sort of this convergence of culture with hip hop and basketball being mainstream and reality television and everyone who's video gaming, right? It's not when we were kids though too. I mean, Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We were raised in a post-racial America versus the Japanese and the Chinese. They don't speak the same language. They don't eat the same food. They don't see the same things. They don't have the same kind of laws. They don't experience the same freedoms. It's not even close. And the left wants to divide you that way. And I think that you're seeing, the reason that you were seeing Latino Americans abandon the Democrat Party in record numbers is because, A, they're deeply conservative traditionally as far as values, right? They tend to be Catholics coming to this country. And then if they're here legally, you cannot throw them in the same pool as someone who, with a coyote, stole a kid so that he could say, hey, let me avoid the cages. And then they realize you're just getting separate cages. You're getting bunk cages.
Yeah. Well, and they want opportunity. And they understand that the Republicans are the party that will provide opportunity because we're the party that says, go and work. You have a great work ethic. Fantastic. Go and work. You'll do great in this country. Democrats are saying, don't go and work. Let us give you $1,400. Let us take care of you. Let us give you stuff that just barely gets you by. Let us fight for $15 minimum wage. And then the job that you would have gotten is gone now because it got automated because they can't afford to pay you $15 minimum wage.
Let's shut down millions of businesses. Let's put tens of millions of Americans out of work for a virus with a 99.9997% survival rate, but then turn a blind eye when 108 illegal immigrants cross the border and are bussed in testing positive.
Yeah.
And you tell me they're looking out not only for when I say, by the way, the American worker, that means Latino American immigrants, Latinx if you're an asshole, and
very hard workers too.
Yes,
that's why I think it's ridiculous, to even call them lazy or anything. And I think what you're talking about too with the color thing is we actually did become a melting pot. That was our society, and that's what made it work. And now that we actually have gotten along, we're now separating it by putting everybody into a color code. It's like I'm Irish, Italian. You know, everybody was treated poorly when they came to this country to a degree. We've evolved from that. And now I realize there's certain systemic.
Well, the Italians haven't.
Well, no. You should see my Uncle Vinny.
Some point the guineas had to pay, right?
Can't even read, right?
Fredo.
Hey, Guomo.
What were you saying? You were saying,
No, I was just saying that we're now putting people into these categories where it's like you said the same thing, where just because you're brown doesn't mean you're Mexican.
Right.
Just because you're just shoving all these people into a category and you're going, well, you're brown, you're white, you're black, and then everything else is special.
Right.
Well, and we're doing it when it's convenient, right? You're a woman when it's Women's History Month and we're talking about promotions, but you're not when we're talking about sports or we're talking about engineering fields or any other science fields. Like you're a woman here and you get privilege here, but then it's like we don't want to see that. We don't want to see color here, but we want to see color here for admissions, right? We don't want to see gender here because gender doesn't exist anymore, but we do want to see it here because more women need to be in places where men are.
Right.
Like I'm really confused.
Yeah, women's pride, but there's no such thing as gender, and you're like, just stop.
Yes.
I don't know which way to go.
It's Wimexen's pride.
Women's.
What is it? What do you do with a Latin woman?
Wimexen.
Is it a women X Latin X?
We're Mexican.
At that point, they should just throw themselves off a roof if ISIS won't do it for them.
I agree.
All right,
But I've always
we
said.
do. And by the way, hey, we do have to. We're going to do a whole. I think it's 15 minutes. There's a video actually. Tokunawan's relative is studying to become a vet. So even in the medical field, there is a profession in crisis: discrimination in veterinary medicine. So we are going to watch this live on Mug, but there's no way we could do it on YouTube.
No way.
And react to it. And the best thing you can do here is listen. Just comment, hit a like if you want, but commenting, discussing with people down below. Sometimes you may see me or Mr. Landau will respond to some comments there. So keep it nice.
Hey.
I'm kidding. Make it horrible. And YouTube, I would thank you, but you know what? I'm not gonna.
How much responsibility do you feel that you have, particularly guys at the alt-right, who, as you say, some of them have enjoyed your work, and say,
No,
I'm not
they
one
haven't.
I'm not one of you guys. I'm not with you.
They haven't enjoyed my work.
I've definitely read bits on the internet.
Read more.
There's a place